Dear student, this is the second part of lesson 1 history, tracing changes through 1000 years. In this lesson we are going to read about the various technological changes those had appeared in this era, and now we are talking about 780 to 1750 AD. Many technological changes had appeared in this age. Those were like the invention of the Persian wheel. Now what the Persian wheel is, as you can see, it had helped farmers in the irrigation. There are lot of small buckets type of shapes attached to this circle, and they are dragging water from this pond or this well, and thereafter with the help of these small canals this water is going to the fields. So this Persian wheel helped farmer in irrigation. Next was the invention of spinning wheel. It was used in weaving and it also increased the speed of weaving. Next was firearms. These are kind of weapons. Before the entry of these firearms, all the soldiers and all the troops, they used to fight hand with hand, and by using smaller weapons like swords and bows and arrows. But with the introduction of these firearms, they were able to kill a large number of army of the enemies. And apart from that, new food and beverages like potatoes, corn, chilies, tea and coffee also it came from out. So these are few of the food items which are not the indigenous food of India. They have been brought by the other people who had come to India during the Middle Ages. Let us talk about new social and political groups. One group of people who became important in this period were the Rajput. Rajput means the son of a ruler. Raj means Raja, Put means Putra. So earlier all the king's son, they were called Rajputs. Later on this term changed. Between the 8th to 14th century, the term was applied to a group of warriors who claimed Kshatriya caste status. As you know, as per Hindu mythology, Hindu caste are divided into 4. As per Hindu mythologies, Hindus have been divided into 4 castes, and those are Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudras. So Rajput, they kept themselves in the Kshatriya caste. Means the prime motive of the Kshatriyas is to rule the nation and fight for their nation, whereas the prime job of the Brahman is to do all the religious acts and all the religious functions. Again about the Rajput, they were not just ruler and chieftains. Most of the territories in India, they were ruled by the Rajput rulers because they were very good warriors, as we already have talked about it, and chieftains also. It means they were also sometimes appointed as the chief of the army by other rulers also. Suppose lot of sultans were there in Delhi, so many of the Delhi sultans, they also had appointed many Rajput people as the head of their army. Soldiers and army also, they worked as who served in the armies of different monarchs. Monarchs means kings all over the subcontinent. Subcontinent means our country, that is India. A chivalric code of conduct, extreme valor and a great sense of loyalty were the qualities of the Rajput. So how Rajputs were known as? They were known as extreme brave. They were very brave people and they had a great sense of loyalty. Means they were very faithful towards their owners or towards their rulers. Other group of people such as Marathas in Maharashtra, Sikhs in Punjab and Jats in Delhi and surrounding areas, Ahoms and Kayastha, they also emerged during medieval period and they also became politically very important. Now see, there was a gradual clearing of forest and extension of agriculture. During the medieval period, the population of India also increased, and with the increase in population, more food was required. And to complete that requirement of food, what was done? The forests were cleared, and those cleared area was converted into fields to grow more and more crops. Now what had happened to those people who used to live in the forest? They came out of the forest, and many of them, they migrated to other towns and cities in search of job. What will happen if the all forest will clear, right? The people who used to live inside the forest, and they were dependent on the forest for their livelihood. They used to eat from the forest and surrounding areas. They all were depending for their fuel on the forest only. So once the forest cleared, they came out of the forest and they changed their habitat, means their profession and their jobs. As society became more complex means very difficult, people were grouped into jatis and subcaste and ranked on the basis of their background and their occupation. Suppose some person is having a very good background, he's from royal family, he's from very high family or rich family, and he is also very having leadership quality and very talented and brave. So that means he will be having a more influence group. He will be given a more important group or jati. Next is, ranks were not fixed permanently and varied according to the power, influence and resources controlled by members of the jati. Means suppose some person is given the rank of commander. Now his son will not become the commander. Next time what will happen when the ruler has to select the commander for his army, he will see then who is the bravest person around. So the ranks were given as per the power and the wealth attained by the people. Others started tilling the land and became peasants. These are the people who had come out from the forest. Some of them started doing farming. Peasants are the people who do agricultural work and live in villages. These new peasant groups, means these new villagers, gradually began to be influenced by regional markets, chieftains, priests, monasteries and temples. So wherever they had settled around their villages, they had made a lot of society required institutions and other things, like they have developed markets around them. They have selected one chief who can rule their village and who can protect them from the enemies, and they also had constructed temples and monastery and appointed some priests to look after those temples. Occasionally, dynasties like the Cholas, Khiljis, Tughlaq and Mughals were able to build an empire that was pan-regional. And pan-regional means spanning diverse region. When there are a lot of diversity in the region or religion. See, when you talk about Cholas, they were ruling in the South India, and when you talk about Khiljis, Tughlaqs and Mughals, they were ruling on entire of the northern India. This is the diversity in region. Some of them are ruling in South India and some of them are ruling in North India. So it has become diversity in region. And second diversity is as per their religion. Cholas were Hindu, Khiljis, Tughlaq and Mughal, they had come from various other countries, like they had relation with Turkey, they had relation with Afghanistan, Morocco and other countries. So pan-regional means people from the different backgrounds. Jatis frame their own rules and regulation to manage the conduct of their members. These regulations were enforced by an assembly of elders, described in some areas as the Jati Panchayat. But Jatis were also required to follow the rules of their villages. So every village was having their Jati Panchayat, and some elder people of those villages, they were appointed the members of Panchayat. At present time also we have Panchayat system, but we don't appoint now those Panchayat member. They are elected by our votes. So Jati Panchayat take very important decisions regarding their Jati members and regarding their Panchayat. Several villages were governed by chieftain. Chieftain, again I am telling you, it's a head of some area. Together they were only small unit of a state. It means village was not an entire nation. If I'll say my village is Tikamgarh or Biharigarh, so it doesn't mean Biharigarh is a complete nation. Many Biharigarhs or many villages will come together, then they will make a district. And many districts they will make a state, and many states only they will make a country that will be named as India or any other country. So that time also one village was a small unit of a big state. Important changes occurred in Hinduism also, because the worship of new deities started. In class 6 you have read about 3 important Vedic gods. Those were Indra, Vishnu and Soma. But here many new deities have emerged. Deities means gods or goddesses. And thereafter what happened, when people started worshipping more and more deities, the construction of new temples also started. And the construction of temple was very expensive work. You cannot construct in with your 100, your 1000, your lakh rupees. It required lot of money. So only very rich people and royal people. Royal people means people belonging to the palaces, means kings or other relatives of the king. They only can build such magnificent temples. And thereafter the importance of Brahmanas and priests also grew, and they became the dominant group in the society. Dominant means very powerful group in the society, and everybody started respecting them. It was because Brahmanas, they had a very wide knowledge of Sanskrit text, and it earned Brahmanas a lot of respect in society, and their dominant position was consolidated by the support of their patrons, new rulers. Patron means who gives support, who give them job, appointment or other facility to carry on with their livelihood, and those are known as patrons. Merchants and migrants first brought the teaching of the Holy Quran to India in the 7th century. Muslims regard the Quran as their holy book and accept the sovereignty of one God, Allah. It means that Islam was not the religion of India before 7th century. It was brought to India only by the outsiders. And in Islam religion, what happened? They regard this book Quran as their holy book, just like Hindus regard Gita and Ramcharitramanas as their holy book. And similarly, this is the holy book of Muslims, and they have one God which they call Allah. And now see, just like we have division in Hindu religion also, the person who worships Shiv, they are known as Shaivites, and the person who worship Vishnu, they are known as Vaishnavite. Similarly, in Muslim also, the Muslim community is divided into 2 important sections. Those are Shia Muslim and Sunni Muslim. There were the Shia Muslim who believed that the Prophet Muhammad's son-in-law Ali was the ultimate leader of the Muslim community. So the Shia Muslim worshipped the Prophet Muhammad and his successors, like one son-in-law, that was Ali. And next is the Sunni Muslim who accepted the authority of the early leaders like Khalifas of the community and the succeeding Khalifas. And the Sunni Muslim, they worship or they accept the authority of Khalifas. Now look at this map. This map shows the division and spread of the both community. Sunni Muslim are, this blue portion is of Sunni Muslim and this dark red portion is of Shia Muslim. So you can see around the world the number of Sunni Muslim is more than the Shia Muslim. Even in India we have lot of Sunni Muslim than that of the Shia Muslims. Thank you for today.